Hello, everyone, and welcome. We are in the fifth course of the 72 Names of God. For those of you that have not been with us previously, I recommend that you go back to listen to the first class, because the first class, even though it does not specifically talk about the 72 Names of God, it does talk about how they work. And if one does not know how everything works, these 72 names of God, then everything else that comes behind it, then one becomes a little disconnected. Let's go ahead and start with the name of God, number 42. You have it here in the box. It is Mem Yud Kaf. This name has the numerology of 70. Its numerical value is 70. This is linked with the word Sod. Of course, we know that Sod translation is secrets. This Shem, or this name, allows us to see the secrets of life. That's to say, to see beyond what appears in our lives. You see that in life, many times people give an appearance that they are not. When people appear in our lives, they present themselves in a way that they are not. Just like a woman may use a technique called makeup. We know it as the brands Chanel, Lancome, Estee Lauder, etc., etc. Makeup is used to show aspects that are not. Men are also guilty of this. Men use similar techniques. He also dresses to show a different aspect that he is not. Then, in different manners, such as speaking, thinking, and presenting, we present aspects that are not. When we speak, we are saying things that are not. Then in life also presents us with circumstances that are not. And based on these appearances that life presents us, we make decisions that we should not make. And we wonder why we stumbled, and we shouldn't be stumbling. And all this stumbling is because we do not see what's behind the curtain of the appearances in our lives. This name, Mem Yud Kaf, which is number 42, this name allows us to have the clairvoyance enough, or the level of consciousness sufficient to see beyond the appearances, not only in people, but in things and in events. It allows us to see what is hidden, what is occulted, and it also gives us strength to want to see what's behind things. Because many times we will not see what is behind the events in our lives for the mere fact of neglecting the wanting to know the causes. Here it gives us the strength to want to see. Also, when we study Torah, this name is very important, because if we studied and we have activated this name in us, it will allow us to see the Torah, understanding what the Torah is veiling. So why do I say that the Torah veils things? Because just as in this world we have a soul and a body, the Torah has a soul and a body. What is the body of the Torah? It is all the stories. All of the Torah is a sequence of stories, and that is the body of the Torah. But what is the soul of the Torah? It is the Kabbalah, that which the stories mask, but that give you the track for you to discover them. So when one studies and the mind or the consciousness is fed and illuminated with this name, you'll know how to go beyond what the stories pretend to teach. For example, it is not the same as telling you that Yosef HaSadik, the patriarch Yosef, went to Egypt and arrived there as a prisoner or as an Egyptian slave. This is what the story tells us. But if we were to go and see with the eyes of this name, we would not be seeing that Yosef went down to Egypt. We would be seeing that Yosef represents the soul, and that Egypt represents the physical world, and that it is the soul that is trapped in this physical world. That is to say that Yosef goes down to Egypt, that the soul comes down to this world, that Joseph's brothers have envy towards him means that the 12 constellations that are the 12 tribes, the 12 constellations that are astral energies, are envious of the soul that God has created and put in a body. That they have sold Yosef to Pharaoh or the Pharaoh. This means that the astral forces sell and commit treason on the soul, and they sell the soul to the physical forces. That is not the same to see the story in the literal sense than to get the inside story and see what is hidden inside the literal story. All of the Torah is the story of the soul and the body in this world. It is also the history of the soul and of the body in relation to the spiritual world. If we say, yes, Yosef came down to Egypt and such, and that then he had a problem with the woman of Potiphar, and that they put him in jail, well, it's just a story. But this story hides great secrets of the soul, because there comes a time when Yosef becomes the vice pharaoh or the vice king of Egypt and dominates all of Egypt and allows no hunger in all Egypt and around the world, and makes his father Yaakov or Jacob go down to Egypt, and that thanks to him all the people of Israel that is going to be constituted has something to eat, and suddenly Yosef becomes tremendously wealthy. And what does this mean? That the soul comes down to this world, sold by the astral forces, but here on earth with a spiritual elevation, we take control of this physical world and make the physical world respond to us and obey us. It is what happens when Yosef unravels the secrets of Pharaoh's dream and they name him Israel. What does this mean? Is that when one gets to see beyond what the eyes can see, that is to say, he gets to the level of deciphering the dreams of the beyond, he starts to take control of this physical world. What was Joseph's strength? It was that he was able to control his semen and interpreted dreams. What does interpret dreams mean? It means that he meditated and was capable of visualizing the things of the spiritual world. He that visualizes and who is capable of visualizing with the names of God can visualize the name of God, Yud-He Vav-He, because Yud-He Vav-He is the one that symbolizes the name of Jacob, Yaakov Avinu, the father. And don't forget that Joseph, or Yosef, was not the only one who went down to Egypt, but his father also went. When they reunited Yaakov with Joseph, there came an enormous abundance to Egypt. This means that when you are capable of visualizing from the Sephirot Yesod, that is Yosef, this name is Shaddai, combined with the Sephirot Tiferet, which is Jacob, and the name is Yod-He Vav-He. When you're capable of combining these two names and visualizing them, you start to take control of this physical world. When you stop having that power, you lose control of this physical world. When did the Jewish people fall into bondage again in Egypt? It was when Jacob and his children were no longer alive. This is what happens when you stop meditating and visualizing. The number 45, Samech Aleph Lamed. We have it in the Siddur, in the prayer books, in the Amidah, Selach, Lano, Avino. It's the name that gives us abundance, economic abundance, abundance of money, and it is the name that generates the level of consciousness and the vessel so that I may never lack. What does it mean that I never lack? When we open the doors of heaven so that abundance may come down to us, it means that the quantity we need comes to us at the adequate moment. And it means that if you need, for example, to buy a house, $100,000, it means that at that moment, the heavens are going to give you $140,000. And if you have to have those $140,000 at the moment of the offer of the house, well, You will reach $140,000 just a little before you need it so that you don't get overwhelmed. What do we mean by connection with abundance? It's that it comes to you at the adequate moment and the right amount with some left over, with time left over, and in a surplus amount. That is the strength that this name has. Its numerical value is 91, just like the word Amen. Let's go ahead and move to number 46, Ayin Resh Yud. This name is very important because it's linked with certainty. Its numerical value is 280, same as the name of the final letters of the Hebrew alphabet. The final letters of the Hebrew alphabet, Mem, Nun, Zadi, Pei, and Kaf, which form the word Mitzpach. It's also linked with the angel Sandalphon that also has the value of 280. We have already explained the angel previously. What this means to say is that this name has the power to overcome the forces of Lilith. What are the forces of Lilith? It's the force of an energy that makes us lose our strength in favor of the forces of negativity. It makes us lose our strength and we give it over to the negative aspects. Sandalphon is the angel that recovers that lost energy. So when your energy is passed to the negative side via the misappropriation of semen, then we have an attitude in life where everything generates doubt. And when we have doubt, the enemies appear. The word is safekt, which is doubt. It's the same as the word Amalek, who is our sworn enemy. Then to return to certainty with respect to the doubt that was able to encroach or invade us, we need this name of God, Ayin Resh Yud, which is number 46. And certainty is what allows us to get things, because when we start things, we start with much strength. Then laziness comes, and then doubt comes, and then comes the abandonment, and then we don't get the things we want. Do you know why? Because we do not follow them to the end. We do not follow them to the end because we stop believing in them. And then instead of succeeding, we have chaos. This name does not allow us to fall in doubt. We move over to number 53, which is Nun Aleph. Its numerical value, it's 101. Just like the angel Michael, it is an energy of Hesed, which is goodness. It protects health. It connects you with the Mashiach and restores that which was lost. What does it mean to restore the lost? Many people think they had an opportunity that they lost, or that they had a wealth and they lost it, or they had a love and they lost it. But the only thing they have lost is the physical manifestation of the thing. The energy continues. And how do we know this? The proof is the ghost or phantom members of those who have amputated an arm or a leg. For example, there are people who have an amputated leg and they feel an itch, say for instance in the little toe on the leg that's no longer there. You cannot have an itch on the little toe if you no longer have the leg. Then the person may say, no, it's that I have an itch on my little toe on my leg. And then the doctor says impossible since you no longer have it. But yes, he does have it. It's the energy of the leg that is still there. The soul of the leg is there. What you no longer have is the wrap. It is called the losing of things. But with this name, Nun Aleph, you can recover through this energy, its physical manifestation. And in fact, there are animals that are capable of rebuilding a lost member. For example, the lizard and its tail, or the salamander of the same species. We move on to number 54, Nun Yud Taf. This is a very interesting name because it's linked with immortality. And we are not talking about the physical immortality, but we are talking about the immortality of our projects, or the things that we have and we do not want to lose them. We talk about businesses, friends, of loved ones, that we have had, and we do not want them to die in the figurative sense. That's to say that we stop having a love, or that we leave a business that has given us lots of benefit, or that I have to stop being a friend to someone. Immortality is linked with a story that is in the Torah where the Jewish people were doomed to die in the Red Sea. And the Red Sea opened and they did not die. This is the name that did not permit the death of the Jewish people in the Red Sea. Nun Yud Tav is a code that induces the continuity of things. Then what depends on the continuity of things? It depends on the state of consciousness. What state of consciousness? This awareness that if another dies, I also die. To explain this state of consciousness is difficult to describe. I'm going to tell you a story. There was a boat. It was going from one island to the other. And inside this boat, there was a man that a strong depression came over him. What did he do? He grabbed an axe and started making holes in the floor of the small boat. There was another man that was also in the boat with him, and he yells at him, "Are you crazy?" And the man told him to leave him alone, that he wanted to die. His fellow occupant of the boat said, "You are crazy. If you kill yourself, you will kill us both." But that man did not have the consciousness that of the fact that he was making a hole in his boat, and he would drag everyone who was in the boat with him. This seems very obvious, and it's very close to what we do every day when we do Lashon Hara, or a defamation on another person to destroy them. We are making a hole in our soul, just as this man was making a hole in his boat. Then this name serves to be aware of not making a hole in the boat and not drag down everyone who is inside the boat. About these forces of which we are talking about, the first concept that I want to tell you is that those who are here today listening to this shur, to this class, listening to these letters and these names of God, it's not a coincidence. I've said this, I think, in previous classes. A very great merit you have to be able to access these names. The second point, the Hebrew letters of the 72 names do not reach those who do not have a good heart. There is no access. It has a thermostat that says no. All those who have a good heart, all these letters of the 72 names are open to being accessible to them. And those who do not have a good heart, the letters are retracted and something happens, that they escape from their hands, that they forget, or that there's no way they can work with them anymore, or that they have other problems in life that disconnects them from the knowledge, or simply that knowledge does not arrive. The point that I wanted to remind everyone is that these letters are never to be pronounced as a name. They can be spelled out letter by letter, but do not read them as a name. The exact names of God are the letters with their natural vowels. For example, the Lamed, its natural vowel sound is La, which is A. The Bet, the natural vowel is E. The Gimel is E. Gimel, Ge. Each letter of these names of God should have their natural vowel, that which is used to pronounce it. But the names of God is never to be pronounced with his natural vowel sounds, because it would be catastrophic. And what does it mean to be catastrophic? Catastrophic is, for example, he who wants a glass of water and gets under Niagara Falls to take a drink of water and is hit with such a force by the water that the glass is destroyed, and he also gets destroyed because what comes down is so much more superior than what the glass can contain. When the names of God are pronounced, the force or the size of the blessing is such that we cannot contain it or digest it. What does this mean? That it overflows. And what does this mean? That once the force overflows, it is misused. And who picks it up? Of course, the negative forces. These forces of evil grow with this force. We cannot be feeding these negative forces. These letters can be visualized. They can be pronounced with our mouths closed. It can be articulated with sealed lips. All these names of God are in the prayer books, and it is very important that we connect with Him so that He can connect with us. That is to say, that when we seek to connect with Him by reflexivity, He seeks to connect with us. But until the longing to connect leaves us, there is no reflection. This is like the one that conquers a woman. Every day you have to go back to conquer her, because if you go a day without conquering, then you run the risk that the love between both may be degraded. And the Holy One, blessed be He, each day you have to have the longing to find Him. And if you leave a day without seeking Him, He too can have a disinterest in looking for you. He acts like a shadow. You raise your arm, the shadow rises. You lower your arm, the shadow lowers. That's to say that the way you act with Him is the way He acts with you. You put your tefillin, He puts on His tefillin. You put on your tefillin to connect with Him, He puts on the tefillin to connect with you. You use the names of God to bring down the Hesed. He also uses the names of God to unite the Hesed in your life. That is, His level of intervention increases in your life. As you interact with Him, He likewise interacts with you. So it is very important that all the belief or certainty that we have in God be without strings or personal interest. One loves God because he loves God, because His Hesed is very big, is very large. Just like a woman that says, "And why do you love me? I do not know. You're my true love, and I cannot explain it, period." How do we love the Holy One, blessed be He? He has flabbergasted us when we started looking for the secrets of His Torah. He has conquered us. He has conquered us with the greatness of mercy that He has given this world. What happens is that we don't know how to work it, but it doesn't not mean that He hasn't given it to us. The number 5, I think we've gone on and discussed it once. Mem He Shin. It's a code of healing, and we have said that it serves so that the sick will want to heal themselves. But there is something interesting. It is the numerical value of Mem He Shin is 345, the same as the word Hashem, and also the same word as Moshe. The curious thing about the numerology of Mem He Shin is that it's 3 times the word Hasak, which means strength. And why 3 times the word strength? Because you have to have strength in the 3 levels of the soul, which is the Nefesh, the Ruach, and the Neshama. The Nefesh has to be healthy. The Ruach has to be healthy. And the Neshama has to be healthy. The Nefesh is the animal instinct. The Ruach is the intellectual. The Neshama is the spiritual intelligence. When our 3 minds are healthy, we are healthy. And Hazach, its numerical value, it's 115, just like the word Pachal, which is Pehe Lamed, which is number 20. The number 64, Mem Het Yud, its numerical value is 58. Its grammatical value is 58, just like the word Noach. But Noach, read backward, is Hen, which means grace, to fall into grace. It's to be pleasant to others, to be pleasant to the spiritual forces, to be pleasant to God. This name connects you with being pleasant to God. And it's something very interesting because it connects us with the birthday of the Baal Shem Tov. And the grace that we will have with this Shem allows us to pray for others because of love and not interest. It generates love to those around us. The Baal Shem Tov was no more or less than the reincarnation of Moshe Rabbeinu. We have already seen how Moshe worried about his sheep and how he took care of his people. That is love to those around us. The Baal Shem Tov explained that this name is linked with his soul. Number 1, Vav He Vav. We played a little with this at the beginning. This name connects us with creation and brings us back to the Garden of Eden, the Gan Eden, before the fall that we had in the Gan Eden. They are the initials of what we say on Shabbat, and it helps us make teshuvah. Now let's see four names of God at the same time. They come in as a package. The number 47 is Ain Shin Lamed. The number 48 is Mem Yud Hey. The number 63 is Ain Nun Vav. And number 2, Yud Lamed Yud. These connect us with the embryonic state. And what does it mean to be connected to the embryonic state? The embryo or fetus in the belly of his mom is taken care of against any aggression from the exterior here on earth. What does this mean is that he is in the belly of his mother in a bag of amniotic fluid, and the life he has in there is alien to whatever chaos there may be in the exterior. That is, it is in a protective shield. Well, then, in this life, when we are already adults, in order to have the same protection as does the fetus in the womb of his mother, we will need the strength of these four names: Ain, Shin, Lamed, Lamed Yud Hey, Ain Nun Vav, and Yud Lamed Yud. It is to say number 47, number 48, number 63, and number 2. So we form a protective shield, just as the embryo is protected in the belly of his mother. We are protected in the belly of these four names of God. Now, those names apart have their own individual power. In a group, they form a shield, and individually, they have intrinsic power. The number 47, Ain Shin Lamed, has the advantage to remove the blockages in life. In life, many times we want to move forward in a project, in a desire, or whatever it is. There are obstacles. Ain Shin Lamed dissolves them and flattens the way. These blockages come from our impurities. There are 400 types of impurities, 400 levels of negativity. And what do you know? Ain Shin Lamed, its numerical value is 400. This means that they dissolve the blockages that are due to the 400 forms of impurities. The number 2, Yud Lamed Yud, its numerical value is 50. The Yud is worth 10, the Dalet is worth 30, and the other is 10. It connects us with the 50th door from the reading of the Torah on the day of Shavuot. That is after the Omer, 49 plus a day for Shavuot, are the 50 doors to get to Bina. And what happens in Shavuot? We place ourselves in a world that is called Bina. In this world, there is no death, which means that the angel of death does not have access. He who meditates with this name excludes the angel of death from his trajectory of life. The number 63, Ain Nun Vav. This name generates in us humility, and its numerical value is 126. And there is a name of God that is Adonai, which is spelled Aleph Dalet Nun Yud, spelled out in progressive. And I'm going to try to explain to you what progressive is, and I'm going to have to spell it out so you could see what it means. Aleph Dalet Nun Yud, spelled in progressive, means you first write the Aleph, and then the Aleph and the Dalet, then the Aleph Dalet Nun, and then the Aleph Dalet Nun Yud. When all the letters are added, we get 126, just as Ain Nun Vav, the number 63, which is connected to humility. What it means is that the one who meditates on Adonai in progressive, which is the Aleph, and then the Aleph Dalet, and the Aleph Dalet Nun, and then the Aleph Dalet Nun Yud, Adonai, it puts him in the energy of humility. The number 4, Ayin Lamed Mem. It cancels negative thoughts, but above everything, connects with our right brain. And all the evils of this world is because we do not connect with our right brain. Now, how does your right brain work with respect to your left brain? What side of your brain does music come from? Left or right? Okay, it comes from the right side. If you're listening to a melody, is it the right or the left brain that we are utilizing? It is the right. If you are dancing, is it left or right brain? It's the right brain that we are utilizing. If you're painting, left or right brain, it's the right brain. You're reading the Torah, left side or right side. This one's a little bit trickier. You're reading the Torah, which are the stories. This is the left brain. If you're studying Kabbalah, that would be the right brain. If you are studying the intelligence of the body, that'd be right or left brain. It'll be the left side. The intelligence of the soul, we know that that would be the right side of the brain that we would be utilizing. The Torah has a body and a soul. The stories of the Torah are the body or the soul. They are the body. Then the revealed secrets of the Torah that were revealed by Shimon Bar Yochai is the soul or the body of the Torah. It is the soul of the Torah. So this shur, this class that I'm giving out, is this from the left side of the brain or the right side of the brain? Does this exercise your left brain or the right brain? It exercises the right side of the brain. If you are dealing with spiritual politics, you are using the right side of the brain. So if Ayin Lamed Mem connects you to the right side of your brain and nullifies the negative thoughts, now I'm going to tell you one thing. Negative thoughts come from the right or the left brain. They come from the left brain. And positive thoughts come from the right side. Then studying Kabbalah, are you going to have negative or positive thoughts? We're going to have positive thoughts. Then why doesn't everyone study the Kabbalah? I guess that's just how it goes. Because people do not study the Kabbalah, we have negative thoughts, and the negative thinking generates events that are negative. Everything that is in the envelope and the logic, everything that is in the envelope and the logic comes from the left brain. And everything that is the soul of things comes from the right brain. Our problems stem from not working the right brain. Currently, we are working only on the left brain. To finish up this shur, let's go ahead and meditate to activate the right brain. Now we are going to do the meditation a little different from what we normally do. We're not going to take the letters and put them in brain, the heart, and the liver, etc. We're going to start a dialogue with the intelligence of those letters, with the Aleph, with the Lamed, and with the Mem, which is the number 45, name of God number 45. So we're going to see ourselves in a Star of David, color of gold. We're going to put another Star of David in front of us that will act as a screen. We will let the letters come in, and we are going to start letting them roll up in conversation with us. And we will talk, and that conversation is going to be an intuitive conversation linked with the right brain. Will have nothing to do with logic. It will have to do with perception. The answers you receive may be with archetypes, that is to say with images, with symbols. It will not answer you with logical arguments. This name because having a relationship with the right brain works with symbols. The left brain works with numbers or with understandable text or context. The logic is one thing and intuition is another. Okay, then let's put your feet parallel on the ground, hands above the knees with palms facing up. We breathe 3 times deeply. Inhale positive energy. Exhale negative energy. Inhale positive energy. Exhale all negativity. Inhale and then exhale. And we see ourselves inside a Star of David, which is the color of gold. Gold as the ray of sunlight. This Star of David is big like this room. In front, we see another Star of David, color in gold, and we call out the letters. We call out the letter Ayin. It comes from the right side to the left side. It comes from the right It presents itself in white, white like the moon when there's a full moon. The letter Lamed appears next in continuation. And then the letter Mem appears next. And now we have the Ayin, the Lamed, the Mem in front of us. And let's start a conversation telepathically with the intelligence of the combination of these three letters that awakens all our intuition and perception of the world above. So I leave you initiating conversation with questions, with answers, with any doubts, anything that you may want. That intelligence is going to answer you in its own way. We breathe 3 times deeply again. We open our eyes. With this meditation, we end our show for today. A big smile in conclusion. I encourage you to discuss or share your interaction with these intelligence in the comments section of this video. Any volunteers?